we were asked to do a quick overview of the 2018 Farm Bill and how that impacts Minnesota farmers. I will just say I'm not an expert on the Farm Bill, but certainly if I don't know the answer to a question, I'll get that information for you from a number of our very wonderful federal partners. So for those of you who don't know what the Farm Bill is, the 2018 Farm Bill is a 529-page piece of legislation made up of 12 titles covering a number of topics ranging from the farm safety net, nutrition, forestry, trade, conservation, rural development, among a number of others. It's up for reauthorization about every 5 years. President Trump signed the 2018 Farm Bill December 20th of last year. You probably heard about some of the delays in that, but we did get it done, so we're very excited about that. The bill is expected to cost about $867 billion over the next 10 years, and the nutrition programs make up about 80% of the Farm Bill funding. So some of the important provisions in the bill for Minnesota, as I mentioned, the farm safety net, and as Chair Poppy mentioned, dairy. I'm not going to go into specifics on that just because the experts will be talking about that next week, so I don't want to, I know you'll you'll dive deeper into that next week. So, but we did want to acknowledge the importance of that piece in the bill. Industrial hemp, rural mental health, animal health, and then of course organic agriculture. So the farm safety net, the Farm Bill protects crop insurance, which is a major priority for farmers. It reauthorizes and strengthens the agricultural risk coverage or ARC program and price loss coverage, the PLC program. The difference now is that they'll be able to switch between those two programs easier. They can update yields if they face drought during the previous yield update. Reference prices will be able to adjust to improve market conditions. And ARC will use risk management agency or RMA data to minimize disparities between the counties that exist right now. Industrial hemp is something we've talked a lot about in this committee, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it more this session. For those of you who don't know, in 2014, the federal Farm Bill authorized industrial hemp pilot programs to exist in states that had laws that passed that, and we did have an industrial hemp pilot program law passed in 2015. Our first growing season was in 2016, and we are currently in our third growing season. So we've been sort of on the forefront of this for the last few years, and we have a lot of folks who are excited about the fact that it has been somewhat decriminalized in the 2018 Farm Bill. So it does define hemp as any part of the plant, including seeds, derivatives, extracts, and cannabinoids with a THC concentration below 0.3%. And THC, as you probably know, is the psychoactive ingredient that gives you the high. So 0.3%, what we like to say is you'd have to smoke a whole field and all you'd get is a headache. So the psychoactive piece in that is very minimal. So it was considered a Schedule I narcotic under the Controlled Substances Act, so the federal Farm Bill did permanently remove it from the CSA. And so states are required to submit a plan to the USDA, and we can impose our own internal restrictions, but we cannot interfere with interstate commerce. So all parts of the plan are able to move amongst state lines legally. We have not been able to submit a plan to USDA, obviously with the shutdown. That's been tough for us to figure out how they're going to implement this program. So we're operating now for the 2019 growing season as a pilot program, and then we'll look to implement the full commercial production for 2020. Hemp will also qualify for crop insurance now, and other federal grant programs like the specialty crop block grants that we administer here in the state. Some of the things that we'll have to submit in our plan, things like maintaining locations of where the hemp is produced, testing procedures, disposal procedures if the product is in violation of that 0.3% threshold, and then also inspection procedures. And we also have to have a corrective action plan if folks go against what we outline in the plan. So again, we have all of that already in place for our pilot program, so that shouldn't be too much of a lift. Especially with the passing of the Farm Bill, we did get a very large increase in applications from folks around the state who want to grow hemp. Our last growing season, we had about 40 growers. This year, we have applications already for 110. So there's a lot of interest, and we expect that number to grow in the next few months. Rural mental health, Chair Poppy has been a huge advocate for this amongst a number of others, and she mentioned this on Tuesday. There's a lot we've been doing at MDA, and so we're just really excited to have more of a partnership on the federal level as well. And we've had a lot of really great Minnesota groups who've been advocating for this over the last few years. Representative Tom Emmer and Senator Tina Smith have been huge advocates for that, and so it's a big bipartisan effort, and we're really proud that they advocated for this. So the Farm and Ranch Stress Assistance Network was reauthorized. And it does expand eligible entities to include state departments of agriculture. That was not otherwise in there, so we certainly intend to apply for some of those funds once that becomes available. It can be used to initiate, expand, or sustain programs with helplines, websites, support groups, outreach services, trainings for farmers and those who assist farmers. Certainly, we've been doing that on the state level as well. Some of you might have heard about our Down on the Farm workshops that were targeted towards folks who work directly with farmers to identify signs of stress and what kind of resources are out there to direct farmers that they might be encountering or having some trouble. So we can certainly use some of those funds for those types of things. Also, our Farm and Rural Helpline and things like our Farm Advocate Program, which you'll be hearing more about next week. It is, I just want to clarify that it is authorized for up to $10 million. The Farm Bill does not provide the $10 million, so we still have to secure that in an appropriations bill. But again, I know a lot of folks in Minnesota will be advocating for that, and we'll be right there with them to advocate to secure that funding. Animal health, obviously this is a big thing that we've worked on the last few years. In 2015, the outbreak of HPAI was one of the largest and costliest animal disease response in U.S. history. It cost USDA estimates it cost taxpayers about $1 billion in indemnity, response, and cleanup costs. So this is really an aim to do sort of a proactive, multifaceted animal disease program to safeguard our animal agriculture. So the Farm Bill creates the National Animal Disease Preparedness and Response Program. It'll focus on analysis and surveillance, outreach and education, biosecurity, training, and technology. And one of the foreign animal diseases we're hearing a lot about that we're monitoring is African swine flu. So that's something, or African swine fever, which you'll probably hear more about in the coming weeks as well. The Farm Bill creates a national animal vaccine bank. It will maintain sufficient quantities of vaccine to allow for rapid response if a disease does hit us. And foot and mouth disease vaccine will be the initial priority. And finally, organic agriculture. So we do have 738 certified organic farms in Minnesota. We've got about 210,000 acres in organic agriculture, and that's grown a little over 80,000 acres in the last 2 years. So it does increase funding for the National Organic Program and the Organic Ag Research and Extension Initiative. Crop insurance agents will be required to include organic farming practices in their continuing education. And a big issue that we've heard a lot about through our Organic Advisory Task Force is combating fraudulent imports of organic products to the United States. A lot of times we're hearing about folks who are, it leaves, it might leave Turkey and it's non-organic, and then it shows up on American shores and magically it's organic. So the federal government is stepping in and creating a working group to establish members with USDA and Homeland Security to look into that and try and prevent that from happening again. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Wow, that was speedy. Yes, we do have some questions. So Representative Anderson.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Thanks for the quick update here. Going back, talking about the hemp, which is going to have a lot of interest, I think, in the coming year, judging by the number of applications for acres this coming year. But my question deals with the banking and how that is going to work with industrial hemp. We're hearing that we can't get processing here because they can't get financing through a bank to get a loan, that type of thing. So how does the new Farm Bill address the banking situation in regard to hemp production?
That's a good question. You're exactly right. There were a lot of institutions who were fearful of financing a lot of these operations because of the nature of its, that it was illegal. So now they don't have to worry about that. Now it is removed from the CSA, and so they can legally operate and finance loans through their banking processes.
Representative Miller.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And in advance, I apologize. I was distracted for a moment, and that's always when this, the subject you're going to ask was set. So if you said this, I apologize. But was there anything that ultimately was done in relationship to the lab-grown meat?
Madam Chair, Representative Miller, I am not sure about that, but I can certainly look into that.
Okay, because Madam Chair, that at the end of last year, we were talking about state level, and they said, well, federal's probably going to address this, and then I had heard that had stalled from some of the groups. And so whatever the status is, I think it's something that we here in this committee should address if the federal government hasn't.
Thank you. Other questions? Representative Tappy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a quick question about during the shutdown. I have a few constituents who have asked me about if there anything that the state can do with regard to loan programs for seed purchase as well as discounts. And I know the FSA offices are going to be open shortly. I think there's a window, here where they'll be open. But are there any opportunities for the state to help out with those types of programs? And is there anything that we're doing on that at this time?
Chair Poppy, representatives, thank you. I meant to address that question earlier. So yes, as you said, the FSA offices have been closed, but they are open today, tomorrow, and Tuesday during normal business hours. So we have been trying to get the word out to farmers to go to those select offices that are open. We did clarify that if you live in Stearns or Todd County, you can go to the Stearns County office and you can call there as well. So we're encouraging farmers to do that during those 3 days. And it is for select services, so things particularly for existing farm loans. There's not, we do have our Rural Finance Authority loan program, and so we've also been encouraging farmers to look at that to see if that would help with some of the impacts they're feeling from the federal shutdown. And we're also asking folks to reach out to our farm advocates to see if there's anything that they can do to help in the meantime as well, because they have a lot of resources and connections and can help them navigate that process. So we're hoping folks will reach out to their farm advocates as well.
Representative Tapke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What was the name of the program again that you just said?
The Rural Finance Authority.
Thank you.
You'll usually hear it as RFA. It's usually how we talk about it.
Representative Lippert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Back to the industrial hemp applications. Are there particular locations where those applications are coming from within the state? Concentration locations, or are they spread pretty broadly throughout the state?
That's a good question.
Commissioner.
Madam Chair, members, so typically, and I haven't seen all of the applications that have come in, usually once we have all of the applications, we'll do sort of a map to see which regions most of its applications are coming from. But historically, they've been all over the state. So it's really been, we've had some in the 7-county metro area. We have some in the Northwest. We've got some in southern Minnesota. We've found them all over the place. So there's definitely interest statewide to grow industrial hemp.
All right, Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I apologize for being late. I've had a couple of conflicts today, so I'm going to have to leave early too. But on the Farm Bill, I don't know how much time you spent on the conservation title, but I have some questions about the Conservation Reserve Program, and it's my understanding that the average rental rates have been reduced to 85% of the county average for the sign-up. And one thing, Madam Chair, I'd like to do in my budget is provide a way of incentivizing sign up to bring that up so it's competitive for farmers and landowners who want to enroll. So specifically on the incentive bonuses for sign up or for providing for additional cost share for the seed mixes that they may not be able to get covered so that they're not losing money on if they choose to go into a Conservation Reserve Program. And I think this would also help on enrollment on a variety of practices with Conservation Reserve. So I don't know if you mentioned any of that, of where the Farm Bill is and if it allows that type of, if someone comes into the NRCS office and signs up, and then could they go right down the hall to the SWCD and there would be a state check that could help with incentivizing their costs for that enrollment.
Commissioner.
Madam Chair, Representative Hansen, we didn't cover that in this presentation, but I can certainly get that information for you.
Good, thank you.
Other questions? We will put the PowerPoint on our website, so we've got that so people can look at it afterwards here. And I think we'll do that as well for what's coming up for the Ag Week. Representative Anderson.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just a quick one again. When you talk about applications to grow industrial hemp, does anybody who applies get the okay, or is there some kind of a screening process, or how does one go about knowing if they can or can't raise it?
Commissioner.
Madam Chair, Representative Anderson, that's a good question. There is a screening process, so we do require them to go through a federal background check, and we also make sure we know where their fields are. We make sure that they let local law enforcement know where those locations will be. But yeah, they are required to go through a background check process before they're allowed to be approved.
All right. If there are no more questions, then thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we will, like I said, we will put that on the website, and we will certainly have you back for doing more things in the future. So thank you.
Thank you.